The episode starts with Fetheni and Jengaye, wherein Jengaye made breakfast for Fethene and wishes her happy Valentine's Day, giving her a flower, and they have some loving chit-chats. Then suddenly Jengaye asks Fetheni if she knows Samkya, who pretended to be her friend. Hearing this, Fetheni gets upset and says, "Let's not talk about people who betrayed me." And then she says she wants to enjoy the breakfast made by her husband, and they become happy again. Scene changed. Here we see Sibongile and Zama besitted, and they are discussing about their upcoming test, and Sibongile is upset about it. Zama offers her to go to the Valentine's Day bash to cheer her up, but Sibongile refuses at first, saying she doesn't like parties. But when Zama insists her, she agrees to go to the bash. But before they go there, Sibongile decides to meet Kwenzo. Scene changes again. Here we see a few characters wishing Valentine's Day to their partners, friends, or getting wishes from crush, and some being intimate and make love, and Mrs. Dlamini receiving flowers from her office employees as a gift if Valentine's Day. Scene shifts where Sibongile is seen with another friend who invites her to go on a night vigil. But Sibongile says she already have plans with Kwenzo and her friend Zama. Hearing this friend of Sibongile gets annoyed, saying, "You always end up doing silky things on Valentine's Day." And Sibongile seems confused, like she couldn't understand what she should do. Scene changed. Here we see Mfundo talking with a lady about a cooking competition. And Nella told Mfundo that this lady, who is Mfundo's friend, has withdrawn from the competition. The Mfundo offers her a deal revolving around the cooking competition, and she agrees to that deal, and they decide to go to the Dlaminis, because the secret recipe is there. Scene shifts. In this scene, Sibongile is upset because she's not being able to decide either she should go for vigil rehearsals or meet Kwenzo for a date. Zama tells her not to be confused and stick up to her original plan. Hearing that Sibongile calls Kwenzo and says she has tests and she needs to study, that's why she can't meet her for date. But Kwenzo says he has to tell her something in person, but Sibongile sticks up to her plan and cancel the date. Kwenzo gets upset and calls his friend Bigman and says, "Change of plans." Scene changes again. Now we see Fetheni visit Samki and shouts at her saying, "I trusted you, but you betrayed me." Sake tells her not to say such toxic things in a day of love, but Fetheni was still angry. Then after a few arguments, Samki says, "What's wrong in a granny spending a day with her grandchild?" And Fetheni becomes silent, and Samki gets back to her work. Scene changed. Now we see Kwenzo brings his granny on a restaurant, and there he introduced her with some of his friends, and they all planned a surprise lunch date for her, and they all greet her warmly and recall how they met her for the last time when they were kids. Scene shifts back to Mfundo and her friend. They were seen in a kitchen making some recipe, and her friend apologizes to her for not telling her she entered the competition, and Mfundo tells her to let this go, and they start to chuckle again, saying random stuff. Then again, Sibongile and Zama is seen together, and in this scene, Sibongile gets her hair long from parlor, and Zama compliments her, and both seem so happy. Scene changed. Again, we see Kwenzo and his granny in the restaurant, and when Zeni asks Granny why Fetheni hates her so much, and Kwenzo stops her not to say all this to Granny. His granny gets upset and says Fetheni's twins passed away, which affected her badly, and everyone gets shocked because they never knew Fetheni had twins. Then Granny changes the topic with funny talks and cheer everyone again. Then they decide not to talk about sad things and bring up a champagne to celebrate the day. Scene shifts to Mfundo and her friend, where they are seen coming back home after her friend won a car, and they both seem so happy about it, and they discuss about cooking. Last scene, Sibongile and Zama are seen coming back from a party where Zama is drunk, and Sibongile trying to handle her. Then Zama says she's hungry, and Sibongile makes her sit in a place and goes to bring some food for her. Sibongile doesn't take her phone while going to bring food, and Kwenzo calls on her phone while Sibongile was away, and Zama sees the call and receive it in drunk state. When Kwenzo asks about Sibongile drunk, Zama says, "Why are you so clingy? Let my friend live her life," and cut off the call. Kwenzo gets confused and angry at the same time because according to him, Sibongile was supposed to be studying at that time.